Hello, friends. Welcome to Not All the Things. This is a space for success-driven, mature women of color, where we share tips and strategies for balancing work-life commitments, wellness, and wine. Why this channel? Because I recognize this is the work that I have to do for myself, and I am surrounded by sister friends who are boss at their jobs. They're in the C-suite. They're running schools, districts. They're powerful lawyers and doctors and creators, and yet they cannot find time for themselves to take a moment to be with themselves. So this is a space for us to connect, support, and celebrate how, yes, we work hard, but we need to find time and a way to play even harder. So if this resonates with you in any way, join me on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. and invite a sister friend to the conversation. And don't forget to bring a glass of red, white, or bubbles, or water to the conversation. So today's topic is focusing on retreat as self-love. And I have some dynamic women who are going to come and talk about this idea of retreat as self-love. And what I just want to offer this community is a definition that New Oxford has given around the word retreat. And so you have to bear with me because I did write some notes down. Retreat is to move back or to withdraw to a quiet and secluded place. And so retreat is always this, may sound like a negative, but many of us have been to business retreats. Many of us have been to retreats on our job. We maybe signed up for a retreat, but the kind of retreat that we're talking about does not have to be as an independent person alone in a secluded place. It can be that. But this is really about retreat for self-love. And so the three elements that I just want to lift for this community is, one, seeing retreat as a way to connect with yourself, as a moment for you to kind of stand back and really deepen your sense of purpose. And that aligns to our idea of wellness. Retreat can also be to reclaim time. We are consistently doing things for other people, making time for our families, making time for our friends, making time for our sorors if you're in a sorority. And yet we cannot find the time to be focused on something that we're pondering, something that we're thinking about, something that we want to engage in, because we're constantly moving. And so taking that idea of retreat, of taking a moment to step back and to be with oneself. And then there's retreat for empowerment. And that is learning and researching topics that you might don't know much about, but also have an interest in, or topics that you're trying to make sense of for yourself. If you're feeling a certain kind of way, if you're wondering about what's going on with your body, using that retreat time to empower yourself to do the research, to do the reading, to do the learning that you need. But that means you have to, one, reclaim your time, two, connect with yourself, and three, empower yourself. And so I'm hoping that this conversation this evening will really kind of touch on those three elements as I welcome my guests into this space. I'm going to have them introduce themselves, and then we'll continue the conversation. So welcome, ladies. We have Dr. Ketsia Sadler, Sister Alexis Owusu, and Dr. Afriye Amerson with an A, because I keep messing that up. So I'm so glad to have you all here, and I would love for you all to just introduce yourselves and say a little bit about not only yourselves, but how do you define retreat for self-love? What does that look like for you? I guess if you want to start. Yes.
I'm Dr. Ketsia Alert Sadler. I know couldn't put the alert there. That's my maiden name. And I always give credit to my dad because most of my degrees I've gotten after I got married. So I want to make sure he got credit for instilling in me everything he did. So alert's always in there. People are like, what? But anyway, so I am celebrating 30 years as a registered nurse. This year, I just started my 24th year as a school nurse. And over the years in my nursing, I started as a school nurse to help students develop healthy lifestyles to take into adulthood. And now I'm moving more into helping women to look at their lives and become more healthy as well, because we as women are backbones for our families. And so that's a little bit about me. And so you'll hear about more as to how this retreat came about when my other two co womb Womb Wellness Angels. Come on, real excited.
Nice. Sister Alexis.
Hi, good evening. My name is Alexis Owusu, and I am a dance educator by trade. I do postpartum doula work, and as of late, I've been focusing on womb wellness, practicing that with movement as well as yoni steam therapy. So, this is something that I've been doing, and I offer it because it's a practice that I keep for myself. So everything that I've done it for myself. So I've experienced it. So sometimes the best way to tell somebody about something is to give them your experience.
Absolutely.
And in my mind, a retreat gives you an opportunity to step away and put down everything that's going on with you in the moment so that you can just solely focus on why you are away and what you're doing. So it's a way
Mm,
to support not being distracted so you can focus in. So that's the
yeah.
reason why that was the question, right? The question
Yes.
was, is what
Yes.
was the treat mean to me? Yeah. So I've had my share of retreats, and it's always just a great opportunity to say, okay, well, this is the plan, this is the intention. I'm stepping away to follow through with my intention, and that's why you have to retreat so that you can, and the meaning of it means to step away, right? Retreat, to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that it makes perfect sense, and it's a great way to get within self and connect.
Nice. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Dr.
Well,
Afriye.
I'm Dr. Afriye Amerson, and I'm extremely happy to be a part of Ketsia's Woman of the Womb. So, Women, okay, Wellness Angels, the WWA. And so we're here to compete with the WNBA, okay, because we're the WWA and we come from all disciplines. So, the beauty of what Ketsia has put together is that in cultivating the woman as the pivotal axis in the family, her wellness is really mental, physical, and spiritual. It's multidimensional. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's why Shaka Khan said, I'm every woman. And Maya Angelou talks about phenomenal woman because
Yes.
we transcend just being a medical doctor. So I personally am going to bring my 20 plus years of experience of delivering babies, doing GYN surgery, being in the ER, being with patients who are admitted to hospitals, and really talking to women about the basics of our interface as Black women with the medical profession, with the healthcare industry, with accessing our health and our wellness through the American system. Okay. But also, I'm a Reiki instructor. And just like Sister Alexis said, I expand who I am as a woman on an annual basis. You know, so she started off in dance, now she's in the delivery room. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so similarly, I started off in the delivery room, but now I'm expanding so that Ketsia's workshop embraces movement, it embraces yoga, it embraces spirituality, as well as traditional medicine, as well as, you know, learning about herbs, learning about nature, learning about things that are not your typical prescription. So, again, when we talk about retreat, you know, Dr. DeVio, we're so happy to be here with you today because retreat and wellness go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what Sister Alexis said, it's the intentionality
Yes.
that you can have a lot of desires, okay, because we're human. And so we
Yeah.
have them. But until you set your intentionality, you really are not goal oriented and you're not going to have the outcomes that set you on a trajectory that aligns with whatever your vision is. So you
Yes.
start with a vision board, you start with aligning your thoughts, You align your words, you align your habits, you align your character. Character comes from daily habits. So we are here to cultivate habits that you can, Dr. Davia, take home. Okay? Take it home or watch virtually and
Right.
learn when you wake up in the morning. What's the importance of those first 30 minutes in your day? What's the importance of decompressing before you lay down to go to bed? I just talked to one of my best friends that Afriye, you always say you're preparing for bed, and I just crash. And then I wake up and I have a horrible morning. Well, that's
Right.
right. We're going to teach you, you have to prepare to wake up, you prepare to go to bed. Same as you taught your children. We're going to
Right.
reteach adults. We're going to put women first all day long. And so we're so excited.
That's wonderful. Thank you for that. And I so appreciate the idea of cultivating what we need to vision and where we want to go. And I would say, how what would we say to folks who say, I don't really know if I can find 4 to 6 hours of time for myself? What should we say to them about finding time to really retreat and do this goals orienting vision work? What does that look like?
I would say you have to make the time because we make time for everyone else. We get up and go to a job and do 8+ hours. We take care of our kids. We take care of our husbands. We take care of our parents. We take care of our church members, our sororities, our organizations.
Right.
When are you going to have time for you? And what I say as a nurse is to people, like when they say, oh, it's too, I don't have the time or I can't afford it. You either pay now or you pay later. Because if you don't take the time to stop for a few hours,
Right.
you're going to have to stop later. And at that point, you
Right.
won't have the choice. But now you
Right.
have the choice. So that's
Right.
how I feel. Just step
Yeah,
out on it.
that's fair.
Take that time to draw away. So
Okay.
that's what I would say.
I think that's a really important piece. We're constantly saying to make time and to take time, and we need to figure out a way to do that for ourselves so that we can be good for other people, right? The more we are healthy in our mind and spirit, the better we are for our families and for our jobs. At least that's how I feel. So I get
And
that.
Doc, if I could add one thing, I want to take the opportunity on your YouTube channel to talk to those viewers who really cannot attend this workshop. And
Yeah.
those viewers may be suffering from domestic violence. Those viewers may be in shelters. They may
Yep.
really not have 4 to 6 hours of leisure time. So, for those women, number one, if your life, for any reason, you could be wealthy and not have 4 to 6 hours of leisure time.
That's true.
But if you don't, I want you right here, right now, in October of 2024, to acknowledge your life is unhealthy and unbalanced, and you
Mm.
deserve more. You actually deserve more, and you deserve better. And that may start with 30 minutes. Take 30 minutes and tune everybody out. Turn off your phone. Go to a lake. Go to a tree. Go to a rock. Go to God's nature. Touch it and talk to God for 30 minutes. Start there, sis, and build to the point where you're of value and you can
Hmm.
sustain for 1 hour the feeling of self-worth and self-value. That's where it's going to have to start. There are women who really don't have the time for this workshop, and that's a
Right.
sign and a symptom.
Yeah, I so appreciate that. And for us to be honest with ourselves and to say, if I am in that space where I don't allow myself, that I am really in an unhealthy space. And I'm really not taking care of my whole self. And to just really acknowledge that. Because there are times when we run and we make excuses and we don't pause to say, damn, this is not good for me as I keep doing the doing, right? And so, I say all the time, part of the reason I named the channel Not All the Things is because we are consistently trying to do all the things. And so I want you to focus in on no, not all the things for everybody, but some things for you. And so this to me feels like the reason that you want to offer yourself this grace and attend not only this workshop and this retreat, but find some space for yourself out in your everyday life for sure. Because sis, I think you said it better than any. You are living an unbalanced and unhealthy lifestyle. And I think it's hard for us to say that honestly to ourselves because we don't believe that that's what we're doing. We really believe that we are giving everything to everyone, and that's what's expected of us. Yeah. Anything else that's coming up for folks around this idea of either I can't make the time or what am I going to gain if I come to an experience like this? What's the growing that I'm going to have when I walk away from this experience? What might be coming up for folks?
I wanted to piggyback though off of what Dr. Afriye said because I was gonna say like similar to the same thing. Like when I'm in experience and I'm working with my moms who are trying to work with breastfeeding, and we're working on trying to get them to build back up and figure out things. And I always tell them like, this is the goal, right?
Right,
But you got to get there, and I need you to allow yourself the patience and the grace to make it there. So if you can just commit to a little bit, right? Like 30 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes just to sit down and breathe. If you can just commit to it, what you are doing is you are choosing yourself in that moment. And so, what you're going to gain if they were to be able to participate in the retreat is you're going to gain the fact that you actually chose yourself. You actually decided to say, I'm going to put everybody and everything down, and I'm going to go and give myself these 4 to 6 hours, and nobody better bother me. My phone is off. You're on do not disturb. All of that, like that's the gain is just saying yes to you, saying yes to you, so if they don't grow, if there's nothing else that you get from this moment that we're all speaking here, just being able to actually sit down, watch your podcast, watch this YouTube video, and just be like, okay, you know what? I feel encouraged enough to choose me, and tomorrow I'm gonna sit down for 5 minutes and I'm going to breathe. You know what I'm
right,
saying? And I'm gonna commit to breathing every single day for 5 minutes until for 5 minutes for a week, and then maybe next week, maybe I'm gonna go to 10. You know what I mean?
right,
Just taking
right,
your time.
right.
So the gain is the choice of you, and as we're all speaking, like not all the things, right? Because we're choosing to do everything else and we're not choosing to choose ourselves. So if you can just sit down and just choose yourself one time, that is the gain. And that's the biggest gain because that's really what God
Mm,
wants in the first place. God needs
mm,
us to focus on who we are and what we're supposed to be doing. We can't do that if we're distracted, So we're gaining us, which is going to make us better people in the world. So that's what I wanted to add on to that. Yes.
I love
I
that.
love that. We are gaining us, and we need to say yes to ourselves. But that's a word right there. That is a word right there, and the idea of choosing ourselves um, as a part of it. I think I appreciate both Dr. Freya and both you, Sister Alexis, for saying that we can do these small steps. You both said if you can do it for 30 minutes, you can do it for 5 minutes. And I would say that's a really good place to start. If you're not able to attend the retreat, choose yourself for 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day. Definitely, that is a start. And that is enough of a win if that's all you can give yourself. And so I appreciate you all talking about that small step because sometimes we need to just allow ourselves that small step. Thank you for that. Can you talk a little bit, Ketsia, about um, what are some of the uh, activities or the experiences that sisters will be engaged in when they're at the retreat?
So we're starting out first with some yoga because we need to center ourselves and just get our minds prepared for the information. And then the second part is the physical or in-person manifestation of a workshop we did virtually back in March with Dr. Afriye, with Sister Alexis, and Alexis's work partner, business partner, Shayna Davis, who's also a doula and womb scene specialist. So the March workshop was called "Let's Talk Care Down Under." So we looked at women's health from the medical side. So Dr. Afriye gave all that information on how do you advocate for yourself, and
Mm,
then Alexis and Shayna talked about the holistic side of it. And so we talked about womb steams. And as Alexis said before, I had a womb steam myself in January, and it was an experience. I was good for like 2, 3 days afterwards. Like I was in a zone. So I felt like I
Nice.
need to share this with other women because again, had I
Mhm.
not done it, like, yeah, you could do a steam, but after I was like, no, you can't just do a steam with anybody. So that's the second that's the
Mhm.
work, that's the content, that's the knowledge piece. And then
Right.
we're also going to have Sister Alexis with her Afro belly class. So you're gonna have some movement in there. We're going to feed you too. We're also going to have a sensual bliss class. We're also going to have a herbs workshop by Sister Shayna, who is going to just talk to you about the natural herbs and everything. Because
Right.
I'm from Haiti. We did that. I
Yeah.
remember my mom or the ladies from Haiti talking about doing the steaming after you gave birth and everything. So it's been in our cultures. Women who
Right.
are from Africa, again, that's what they did there too. So we're going to look at how those things are going to help us. And then we're going to close out the day with some mindfulness as well. So we're going to start off with our mind, getting prepared, doing a little bit movement to loosen up, and then we're going to close out with that as well. And ladies will get some little things to help take away from the day. Don't want to say everything that's going on, but just have a
Oh,
way
absolutely.
of having some
Absolutely.
tangible takeaways to remember the day. Because you go somewhere, you want to have something to fall back on. You may not
Yeah.
remember everything, but if you
Right.
take some notes, so and I was intentional in trying to put in a way that people can get what they take what they have with them, and it can always be with them. So hopefully the intention is going to work. So that's the whole day in a nutshell.
That's a full day. That's a
Mm.
full day. And I will say that there are probably a number of people who are listening who are wondering, what is a womb steam? Are we talking about clearing it up down there in a real central way, or what do we mean by that, sis? Can you talk just a little bit? Can you give us a little bit about what that is?
Of
Well,
course.
I'm
Oh,
gonna let Alexis talk about that. But what I want to say is, definitely she's
yes.
gonna talk about it. But like I said, it was not what I thought it was going to be. It turned out to be more than I anticipated. Like
Nice,
it
nice.
was a whole um like a pre-conference. You go to the same thing, a pre-conference talking about myself. And then I've known
Mhm,
Alexis for years also. So we had that bond. So it made it even more personal. But hopefully
mhm.
ladies will get to know Alexis via this workshop,
Nice,
between this
nice.
recording, and also on Saturday say, hey, that's the person that I want to have that experience with. But go ahead, Alexis, you talk, because that's your area.
Yeah, okay. So let me start off by saying they some people call it a peri womb steam, some people call it yoni steam, I call it a womb steam. And basically it's a modality where you take a bucket of herbs and specified herbs. We talk about this all the time, like not all herbs are created equal. And you
Mm,
got to know what's gonna work for your body. So you get
mm,
a pot of herbs, and you sit on and you heat the herbs up, and you allow the steam and the heat of the herbs. It's like it's the representation of air, the elements, fire,
mhm,
water, air, and there's another one, excuse me, but it's a representation. It represents all the elements. Air, fire, water, earth. Yeah, the earth is the herbs. The steam, you know what I mean? Like, so it represents all of that encompassing together. And what
mhm,
happens is that the vapor of the herbs, they kind of your pores start to open up, and it's coming into your bloodstream. And the
mm,
herbs are supposed to be specific for caring for the womb. And so there are so many different types of herb setups. There's a herb setup for caring for women who are trying to work through having infection, postpartum care,
mhm.
beginner women who are first coming into their uterine steam, like new ladies who've had their first menarche and now they're going through the cleanse every time.
Right.
You can do just regular maintenance, okay? Fibroids, even women
Yes.
who aren't going through their uterine cleanse anymore and are in their like perimenopause, menopause stage, like even those stages, all of those women can benefit from this. And the reason why it is so amazing to even try is because it comes from our ancestry. Like, it's not just one culture that steams. I know Dr. Ketsia, Dr. Sadler, she mentioned Haiti. That's a big one that everyone knows about, right? But there's like so many other cultures. My first introduction to steaming actually was from the Korean culture. I went to a
Mhm.
Korean bathhouse. Yeah. I went to a bathhouse one day and I went and I got a steam and it changed my life. And I mean, literally changed my life. Like I saw changes happening from my body when I was doing it. So once I
Right.
did that, I was sold. And there's different ways to steam too. Like you don't have to just sit on the pot for a long time with heat. You can just have it. You can be a little bit of time. You can say like there's so many different types of ways to carry out this steam. I received my training from Steamy Chick, Sacred Womb, Lotus Steam Wellness. So there's a
Yes.
couple of different places that I have been, you know, so like experiencing different trainings to really understand. It goes hand in hand with your cycle. It really does. And the more you know
Mhm.
about your body, the more you know about your cycle and understand what you need to do to care for your body, the so much better we will be, because at the end of the day, our reproductive organ is like a vital sign. When there's something going on with our cycle, we can figure
Right.
out what's going on with the rest of our body. If there's something off, that means that you need to focus on your body and in totality. So that's the reason why I stamp it. I'm just like, let's go. We need to steam, you know. And that's what it is. If that is explained, I hope I explained it well for
Definitely,
you.
that explains a
Yeah.
lot. And
Okay. Good.
as someone who is in the menopausal state, I absolutely will be talking to you more because I do feel like this this cloudiness and all of these other things that, some days we do understand what's going on, and then there are other days when I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know if this is just me being forgetful or just me being older or what's going on, but I do feel like many of us we're trying to take a hold of our body, and we have a new body now at 50 plus, and so just trying to make sense of how to work this new body and how to like become more in love with this new body. I think I think we'll be having a conversation. Let's put it like that. And I do hope some other folks will be interested in reaching out and sharing. I'll make sure to have all the links to all, one to the actual event, but also if there are any email addresses that you all want to leave, I can put that in the show notes, and folks can find it in the show notes also, because I do think that's really important. And Dr. Afriye, talk to me about what you will be sharing with the women on Saturday. What will it look
Well,
like?
Doc, I really cross the board when it comes to women's health. So
Mm,
I love our pubertal girls. I
mm,
love girls who are newly coming out of junior high or middle school, newly menstruating, discovering their bodies. I love women who are entering the point of life where they're starting a family. So they're new
mhm.
to pregnancy.
Right.
And over my 20 plus years of practice, I have had what I call the platinum families. And that means I have delivered 3 or 4 children into your
Mm,
family. So the kids outnumber the parents. Okay. That's the qualification. So it's beautiful to build families. Alexis
right.
knows what I'm talking about. It's beautiful to watch children develop and grow and empower themselves. I
Hmm.
love our age group, the age group that is finished childbearing and their body is experiencing the same changes as puberty in the
Yeah.
opposite direction. It's still a change, just like a seasonal change. We
Right.
have to embrace that. And
Right.
although the Western world does not embrace women of all ages,
Right. Right.
um, the African diaspora does. So as we learn things that are cultural to Black and Brown women, we actually better learn more modalities to embrace our power, even at seasoned ages, beginning with menopause and going to our gray haired seniors, where I work with women with pessaries
Mm,
because they have prolapse of their organs. And
mm,
I've had patients in their 80s, 90s, 100
right.
years old. They still need a gynecologist. So I am
Right.
so happy, Doc, to talk to all of the women. I want
Right.
to see who the participants are. What are their specific questions? What
Right.
do they specifically want to know from a doctor that when they walked into a doctor's office, they may have forgotten? When they walked into a hospital or were hospitalized, they may have been terrified. They may have
Mhm.
thought of their questions 3 days later. Well, come
Right.
to this forum and ask me. I'm the doctor that you can reach out and touch, metaphorically. I'm the doctor that you can personalize. I'm going to give it to you straight.
Right.
Yet I'm board certified. So, Doc, I think what Ketsia's put together is extremely unique because many physicians in a white coat are
Yeah.
only selling pharmaceutical products, and they are poo-pooing doulas. They are poo-pooing vaginal steaming. And it's really important that Ketsia's put together the WWA because I build up and empower them, and they build up and empower me. We have women that are terrified to go to the doctor. Okay.
Yeah.
They will only see Sister Alexis. They are terrified of a mammogram. And so she's here to build up and verify. No, there are times where you need a physician. There are times
Right.
where you need objective testing or objective radiologic studies or a biopsy.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
here to verify her. There are times where it's not about a prescription or a pharmaceutical product. That
Right.
baby powder did not do any favors for Black and brown women. We now have lawsuits, right, for cancer.
Right.
The
Right.
perm did not do any favors for Black and brown women. We now have lawsuits for cancer. And douches are no better. You put all this terrible thing in the hoo-ha with no expertise. Go talk to Sister Alexis so that you're acting with wisdom and discernment.
Right. 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 I appreciate that. I appreciate all of y'all. I have to just ask you all if you have your glasses to raise your glass. I need to toast these sisters because they're about to do an amazing, wonderful thing. And I really appreciate you all just bringing that honest moment to us. So thank you, ladies. And I'm going to cheers to you.
Cheers. With my water.
Cheers, Doc.
Cheers with your water. Cheers. Listen, I have my water too. I'm doing double duty. I'm doing the water too, but I just want to say thank you. Thank you for that honest feedback. Thank you for taking that idea of retreat as self-love and really situating it for our sisters and for folks who are watching to understand that there's an opportunity for you to ask open and honest questions, to be in community, to retreat to a place where you can, one, connect with each other, reclaim time for yourself, and empower yourself by learning and asking questions. So please make sure you all read the show notes. Take the time to look in those notes, and I will make sure to have not only the link to the Eventbrite, but also the link to each of these sisters' emails so that if you want to reach out and remember, I think it was said so plainly by Sister Alexis, choose yourself, say yes to yourself, and know that this is about gaining us. This is a gaining us moment. So thank you, everyone, and thank you for being here with me. Remember, cheers to next week, and not all the things. All right. Thank you, sisters.
Thank you.
I really hope that you all found this conversation to be useful. If so, please subscribe, hit that like button, and please come out. Retreat for self-love. If you have an opportunity, if you live in the Bergen County area and you can join us on Saturday, please come on and join us. Again, check the show notes, and you can follow all of the ladies there. Thanks so much. Glad to have you. Cheers again to next week.